Welcome to Jim Rohn's one-year success plan summary version. I'm Chris Whitener, joined by Jim Rohn himself.
Hi, Chris. Glad to be here. Let's dive right in as our participants are eager to start their year-long journey. How do you feel about them joining the program, and what growth do you anticipate for them? Reflecting on your early years, some might wonder why they should seize this opportunity while others won't. What challenges could they face at the outset? Commitment is key when starting any program. Commit not just time, but also an open mind towards learning something new from it, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the presenter's views initially. The course demands discipline due to its extensive material, which requires serious engagement rather than casual reading. Despite possible complaints about its length, if committed fully, it promises rich rewards. This well-crafted program includes 52 enlightening weekly emails, among other resources offering immense value beyond casual perusal. It's like university condensed into 1 year. Concentration is key to understand it. A 1-year commitment is a good time frame for understanding and applying lessons. People can pay more attention to it. Many people agree that this is the best personal development program. It's long enough to learn a lot, but not too long. The program uses conference calls and material for reading, listening, and watching. It also includes questions for discussion. People who participate in the call will have the chance to interact with you and your teachings, which you've shared worldwide for over 40 years. You may have another 20 years to share these ideas, having done so for 50 years already. There's one question I always ask myself, and I want your opinion. What separates successful people from unsuccessful ones? It's not about family background or natural abilities. What differentiates those who achieve success from those who don't? Influence plays a key role, which is why this 1-year program focuses on it. I know a family with 2 sons. One became successful while the other ended up in jail. The difference was the influences they had at school. Never underestimate the power of positive influence and good ideas, as they can spark your imagination. When working, try to ignore negativity. Don't let anyone steal your time invested in this program. Treat it like valuable capital. Just as we protect our money from theft, be cautious with people stealing your time. Politely decline invitations that interfere with your commitments. Pay attention and guard your time against those who might steal it, including yourself and me, Chris. Finish what you start. Once a man called me just to kill some of my time. I thought, now he wants to waste my time too. We'll discuss associations later, but here's a point. Should people pair up for this? Perhaps they started alone but could invite a friend. It's never too late to bring a friend along. Going through this with a partner, bouncing ideas off each other, can be beneficial. That's why we encourage groups at seminars. It's interesting to compare notes and see the different perspectives on the same context. Discussions, even debates, are valuable. They help refine the idea. Think of how the founding fathers debated to establish the country. Engaging in meaningful conversation is crucial. Like the proverb says, iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another through discussion. That's why we have a 2-party system to debate ideas. If an idea doesn't stand up to scrutiny, it can be withdrawn without loss. Debate, think, ponder. I don't want you to simply believe what I say. I aim to stimulate conversation. If you're participating today without a partner, find someone. It will benefit both of you. Start discussing the pillars. The first pillar is to work harder on yourself than your job. Can you explain what that means and why it's important? This concept comes from an economic formula. I once showed my mentor a small paycheck, using it as an excuse for not being successful. He explained that the amount I was paid reflected my current value in the marketplace, not as a person. To increase this value, he suggested that I work harder on personal development, improving everything from my personality to skills. He believed it was crucial to have a specific plan for personal development. This meant not just learning, but turning knowledge into action. For instance, if inspired to learn accounting, one should enroll in a class immediately. Developing multiple skills was also key. Each new skill I learned significantly increased my income. Similarly, learning additional languages could also provide economic benefits. The key was to start learning now. We also discussed total health during our year-long journey. Beyond physical health, this included emotional, intellectual, and spiritual health. Regarding spirituality, he advised studying, practicing, and teaching whatever you believe in. These actions would contribute to a strong foundation for life. What about our non-physical selves? For instance, even if we lose a hand, we still exist. So how can we keep our emotions healthy, our will strong, and our minds growing? Our mind needs nourishment, which is what our one-year program provides. It offers a variety of good ideas to keep the mind healthy. We need multiple mentors in areas such as sports, spirituality, learning new skills, and time management. Investing for the future is also important so you can become financially independent. Learning to make wise decisions and debating both sides of an argument is crucial. To maintain a healthy mind, avoid wasting time on trivial matters. Be mindful of who you spend your time with. Emotions are part of life's drama. Learning from mistakes and making corrections is key. Hopefully, my ideas can help you avoid some hardships. As for willpower, it's a vital but intangible part of our lives. Some people have strong wills, others not so much. We can strengthen our willpower by not neglecting certain disciplines. For example, ignoring the voice that tells you to skip exercise today. I'm 76 years old, and I still have to fight these voices every day. You need to stay positive and make up your mind. Every morning when the traffic light turns red, one voice may tell you to go ahead, but you must resist for your family's sake and your future. This daily struggle strengthens our willpower. In terms of morality, think twice before taking advantage of situations, like taking a free newspaper just because someone else paid for it. I declined his offer and he was surprised. He told me to shut the door. I paid for my newspaper with 2 quarters. I'd like to think it was my moral strength that guided me, but in truth, it was because I knew my mother was watching. Later, I was glad about my decision. Instead of saving 2 quarters, I preserved my self-esteem. Willpower is not just about overcoming big challenges, but also handling little everyday issues responsibly. It's about choosing to do what's right, even when you don't feel like it. I've realized that successful people often do things they don't enjoy. For instance, top salespeople may dislike cold calling, frugal people may actually love spending, and fitness enthusiasts may not always enjoy grueling workouts. The best way to motivate yourself to do something you don't want to do is to adopt the mindset of a farmer. A farmer can't neglect his duties just because he doesn't feel like working. He must put in effort regardless of whether he feels like it or not. Remembering my early days, we used to leave milk cans out in the cold for pickup. Even if it was chilling, we couldn't stay in bed and avoid our duty. Just like farmers who can't afford to be casual about their work, we should take our responsibilities seriously. In my seminars, I often say that some people plant in the spring and abandon the field in the summer because the heat and workload become unbearable. We all need to pay attention to our duties. One of the main topics we will discuss this year is relationships, one of life's greatest gifts. Relationships can also bring us sorrow, so learning to manage them well is crucial. In the past, I've compared nurturing relationships to cultivating a garden. Let me elaborate on this analogy. At the start of the year, many of us likely have a list of calls we should have made last year. You may have a friend you've meant to call. Time flies, you got busy and forgot. Like me, there are calls, chats, or meetups missed. We had free time, but we're too busy. Friendships shouldn't be neglected like this. We all remember times when we didn't care for friendships. I think of relationships as gardens. When we moved house, flowers had weeds growing between them. Relationships can also have weeds: jealousy, envy, gossip, selfishness, unforgiveness. We need to learn how to remove these negative parts from our lives. The prayer we often say is fitting, asking for daily bread and escape from evil. We must focus on what brings value in our life. For example, before reading a book, ask if it's worth your time. This applies to temptations that cause anger, too. Choices like what to eat need regular thought. but the more we make these choices, the better we feel. At the end, we should have cared for loved ones, set a good example, and added value to others' lives. Doing this daily is helpful. In one of my books, I relate relationships to a garden. I propose investing time, effort, and creativity into them. A creative relationship involves noticing the details. For instance, I'd call my dad during his breakfast when I was overseas. It takes 5 minutes to call my dad and tell him about my travels. It gives him something to talk about. If you take the time to do this, it's easy. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. But if you remind yourself to do it, it works. I imagine my father opening up an empty mailbox. He's 93 years old just before he died. I made sure the mailbox wasn't empty. Even a postcard would do. And when I returned home, we'd meet and he'd show me the postcards he kept. I'd tell him all the details that couldn't fit on the postcard. That's a small thing, but it makes a big difference. Make sure the mailbox isn't empty. Take care of this, even if it's a delayed conversation. Remind yourself constantly because we lead busy lives. Other things prevent us from organizing small details which enhance our relationships. Do you think it's harder today due to the busyness of the world or technological advances? I travel globally. I just returned from Mexico and will be heading to the Philippines, Hong Kong, and Japan next. Then it's on to Bogota, Colombia, and more. This year, I'll also return to Russia to lecture, in addition to visiting Europe and Asia. However, traveling is demanding work. It involves making calls, meeting people, and having conversations. I have grandchildren in school and university now. Staying connected while conducting global business is a significant challenge, but thanks to technology, keeping in touch is easier. For example, my family is in New Zealand. My daughter and her husband, who is an art director for a new film, can video call me. This helps us stay connected. It's important not to forget birthdays, anniversaries, and other important dates. Navigating all this can be challenging, especially in today's busy world. Let's discuss setting goals. At the start of the year, setting goals is crucial. You refer to this as a goals workshop. Could you give a brief version of what people can do as they make their yearly plan? What steps can they take to achieve what they want? Certainly, the first step is to think about what you want and write it down. For instance, who do you want to meet this year? Which books do you want to read? Instead of trying to remember everything, make a list. Whenever a book is recommended, add it to your list. The same applies to places you want to visit. Recently, I visited Iceland for the first time and celebrated my birthday there. There was a choir of 40 local men who sang for me. I even sat in the chair where Gorbachev and Reagan negotiated during the Cold War. So consider where you want to go and what experiences you want to have. Although I may be past certain experiences like bungee jumping or playing in a band, I have different goals. My grandson looks like he's going to be a great composer. Ultimately, decide what you want and make lists. What health do you want for yourself and your family? What goals do you have for your friends and spouse? Do you know what you wish to achieve? The ultimate goal is to donate a substantial part of your wealth. Carnegie is a great example. He spent the first half of his life making money, especially in the steel industry. He amassed 400 million and then gave it all away in the second half of his life. That was his aim. Think about what makes a good life for you. When setting goals, focus on what you want, not how to get it. Is there power in writing down your goals? Yes, write them all down. It helps your subconscious mind. You don't need to detail obstacles that might stand in your way. Just write what you really want and keep updating your list. Goals are always changing. As you start new jobs or businesses, set new goals. Ask yourself what you want to achieve in the next few years. Teach your children to set goals. Encourage them to imagine what would make their lives fantastic over the next 10 years. The ultimate goal is not just achieving your goals, but becoming the person you want to be. At the end of life, who we've become is more important than what we've achieved. Set a goal to become a millionaire, not for money, but for personal growth. The person you become is more valuable than the money you've earned. You can give away a fortune because you've become a millionaire in character. This advice I received when I was 25 has been invaluable. Even if Bill Gates or Warren Buffett lost all their money, They are looking for investors to start another project. They have a long line of people interested because they know what they have achieved. They are a safe bet for the future too. Let's discuss how to manage your time. We spent a month studying this topic. You say everyone must choose between two types of pain, discipline or regret. It's important to manage your time properly, just like money. If you're careless, it will quickly disappear. This happened to me once with my first fortune, but I've made more since then. It's crucial to pay attention. A tip I learned is to plan your day before it starts. It's like building a house. You wouldn't start without a plan. The same applies to your day. Plan it the night before. On Sundays, consider what the upcoming week has in store. Reflect on the previous 6 days and make adjustments for the next 6. This will significantly improve the coming days. In terms of time management, you say success is just practicing simple disciplines every day. Can you expand on that? Simple daily disciplines or repeated mistakes can affect your direction. At first, it may not seem significant, but be smarter than that. One guy builds his house on rock, another on sand. Both seem fine initially, but future tests will reveal if they were built on firm foundations. Be disciplined now to avoid future regret. We talk about how we relate to others all year. It's key to be with good people. You've talked about grouping people into different types of relationships. We choose if we want to grow, limit, or stop relationships. Can you tell us why it's vital to connect with helpful people? Yes, it involves self-control, which can be hard. Sometimes we need to leave those who don't help us. We meet many people daily. Some may annoy us, but we've learned to control our reactions. We can't avoid life's challenges, but we should spend more time with positive people and less with negative ones. This choice varies from person to person. Parents often guide their kids on friendships, especially at school. We might say that a certain friend is a bad influence. Our kids may not agree. They may argue their friend will change, but we still try to advise them so they don't make bad choices. Just like that, we must advise ourselves on who to be friends with. Often, we have to make hard choices about ending friendships. Sometimes, we keep relationships for ease, even if they're not good for us. Comfort can trick us into thinking these friendships are okay. It's wise to review your relationships regularly. Ask yourself if these people benefit you or if changes are needed. Ask, who am I around? How do they affect me? And what are they making me think, read, do, or go? Such questions help find harmful influences. Often we don't check the impact others have on us. A close friend or partner might say someone isn't helping us. You might say you never thought about that and then agree. So be open to this because others sometimes see things we can't. I mentioned this in communication. Language we use might seem cute or okay. Someone might say, if you stopped using an expression, it would be better. You think, thanks for pointing it out. We can all use advice, especially from people we respect. Not just those trying to bring us down, but people who truly want us to improve. Your mom always said sit up straight, not to be mean, but she wanted me to look confident. She wanted me to become that person. So that's why she did it. Shoulders back, head held high. For example, if I slouched while eating breakfast, she'd say sit up. So I tried my best. That's what teaching is about, highlighting things you might. We often talk about the importance of continuing to learn throughout life. The people listening to this are already on that path as they've committed to a learning program. I often say that traditional education can provide you with a job, but self-education can provide wealth. This is true if you commit to learning beyond what most people do. As I've gotten older, I've had to learn how to manage not just my time, but also my energy. It's important to focus your energy on meaningful tasks so you have enough left for significant events. Managing money, time, relationships, and personal growth is a lifelong endeavor. Another topic we discuss is sales. Some people don't consider themselves salespeople, but in reality, everyone sells something every day. For example, children often convince their parents to give them treats. In seminars, I try to sell ideas, encouraging attendees to listen, take notes, review them later, and share what they've learned. Teaching others enhances our own understanding and improves our lives. I've taught 16,000 students in Bangkok, 15,000 in Athens, and another 16,000 in Mexico last year. I enjoy adapting to different audiences worldwide, even if it involves translation. My aim is to inspire people to reflect on their lives and consider their chosen path. The information I share can be valuable, especially at the right time, with the right crowd and correct emotional atmosphere. It can change lives. Over this year of teaching, I've seen how ideas can transform futures. For those in sales, my advice would be to have plenty of interactions daily. Develop your persuasion skills and passionately believe in your product or service. If you don't think it's the best, keep searching until you find one that is. Once you're convinced it's the best, focus on improving your skills and maintaining consistency and discipline. In sales, there's a temptation to stop working after making a few sales. But remember, if you've made some sales, you've probably built momentum. That's why it's important to resist the voice telling you to stop for the day. The struggle is mainly mental, but overcoming it can lead to impressive results. Let's talk about money. Although everyone loves income, it rarely exceeds personal development. Sometimes your income might increase unexpectedly. However, unless you also grow personally, maybe in leadership skills or commitment, the income usually drops again. So always challenge yourself and strive for growth. My friends, such as Mark Hughes, have excelled in business. However, when their company hit 500 million, questions arose. Could a ninth grade educated young man effectively manage such a large entity? Starting something is one thing, but keeping up with its growth is another. Could this young man develop the necessary skills to negotiate and deal with international government agencies? As the company grew to $1 billion annually, could his abilities and commitment double accordingly? Could he handle tasks like dealing with accountants and lawyers, something he was never trained for? Surprisingly, he was able to do it. The key challenge is keeping up with development. It's a continuous process. Perhaps some people plateau because they stopped personal growth. True performers continue to give their best, regardless of their age or status. They continue to strive for excellence instead of relying on their reputation. I've always said that profits are better than wages. I understood this from a young age. While wages provide a living, profits can create a fortune. It's difficult to multiply your paycheck, but multiplying profit is achievable. At 25, I began focusing on profits along with my income. Soon, I was solely concentrating on profits. I made several fortunes, lost some, but maintained the belief that profits surpass wages. In Russia, I preach capitalism. They've needed this economic principle since abandoning communism. Capital is any value set aside for investment in an enterprise that brings value to the market, hoping to make a profit. A simple analysis shows profits can add value to the marketplace. For instance, a man in Phoenix, Arizona, profited from every car he sold. He meticulously maintained his cars, enhancing their value. This is an example of commitment in economic terms. Strive to improve each week, each month. If you focus on making profits and not just earning wages, your future can be secure. Once, I noticed something about the Forbes 400 list. There are two types of people on it. The first type are those who make profits. The second type are those who inherited their money from profit makers. There's nobody on the list who got there by working for a wage. To make money, you should invest wisely. I spoke to a woman in real estate. I asked her how many properties she owned. She seemed surprised and said she sold properties, but didn't own any. I told her that selling properties earns you a living, but buying properties can make you rich. She understood my point right away. People who sell properties often see the best deals first. If they're smart, they could get a good deal before anyone else. We need to discuss some more key points. We want to help people think about things they haven't considered before. When I was 25, someone did that for me, and it made a big difference. Now we're nearing the end of this discussion. Let's talk about another important aspect, communication. We've discussed it a bit already, but do you have any tips on positive communication? Words are very powerful. They can illuminate like a light in the darkness. For example, if someone doesn't believe they can succeed and you tell them an inspiring story, they might start to see things differently. That's the power of communication. It can let people see what they couldn't before. But remember, words can also bring people down. The saying, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me," is not entirely true. Words can indeed hurt. Indeed, we need to exercise caution regarding the tools of last resort. There are instances when anger is justified, but not daily. Jesus serves as a prime example. Over 3.5 years, he got angry rarely. He didn't carry anger like a whip, only using it when necessary. A daily display of anger builds an unwanted reputation and is unhelpful. Thus, learning early to manage communication wisely and deliberately is. Let's discuss leadership, a focus for an entire month. I understand that you're not seeking followers, but aspiring leaders. You aim to empower people to use your words and ideas, not just to follow you, but to lead others. What is the significance of leadership for those on this call? Significantly, parenthood starts with imparting wise ideas to children, the ultimate leadership role. In business, leadership means knowing how to execute tasks, present oneself, inspire others, and boost self-belief. Recognition, inspiration, and new ways of thinking are all valuable aspects of leadership. Such leaders who can influence communities and churches are treasured. Reputation plays a crucial role in leadership, earning respect simply by their presence. When a leader speaks inspiringly, people willingly follow. A great leader can envision the future, see individuals or businesses' potential growth. They can bring the future to the present, inspiring stronger commitments. This foresight is invaluable in leadership. Leaders can also foresee potential threats that may harm us, our business, or community, making them invaluable, especially today. We need more leaders. Often people fail and lose their positions. I'm excited about our one-year program because it helps people become strong, moral leaders in their communities, churches, businesses, and families. This strengthens our country. One of my goals is to provide a structured study program that builds stronger foundations and expands thinking. This enhances all aspects of life and leadership. The vision includes not only those taking the course, but also those they will influence. When I speak to a large audience, I imagine the possibilities if they are moved by my words. Similarly, when I write a book, I envision its potential impact as readers share it with others. A few years ago, you received the Masters of Influence Award from the National Speakers Association. It was amazing to see how many people were impacted by your work. Many business owners have told others about your philosophies. This leads us to the final point, leaving a legacy. We are all building a legacy every day. How we live our lives now determines what we leave behind. For example, my father taught me financial independence. Being debt-free gives you the freedom to work for pleasure, not necessity. The legacy that he left and taught me that was just unbelievable. Then he taught me always do more than you get paid for. These were little seminars. My father did that. Some were just a couple of sentences long. Always do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future. Wow, that didn't occur to me how valuable that was until later. And then, of course, Mom and Dad left me all of the estate, the farm and the farmland and the buildings and the automobiles, all debt-free, not one penny. The attorney that handled the said, I've been an attorney for all my life. And he said, only once in, thousands and thousands of people is there a debt-free. So they practiced what they preached, and the most important thing I think they taught me was don't miss anything. Don't miss the game. Don't miss the performance, right? Don't miss the occasion. Go look, go see, go enjoy that legacy left by my mother. And my father has served me so well all these years of my life, and I've done the best to do the same for my children and my grandchildren, and that's what life is all about. That's it. Doing the best you can while you're here, and then having it, said, here's a person who affected people's lives, someone who did their best. Develop their life with honor and dignity, all that reputation to leave behind, that's it. Well, Jim, as always, I'm happy to chat and answer these questions for the program. We've had a 99% stay rate, which is amazing. Welcome, everyone. I wish we could meet in person, but that's why we have this summary version. Study well soon. We'll catch up again. Thanks, Chris. Next, there will be another next summary version on our channel. It's a great chance to learn more about our one-year program. See if supporting us by subscribe our channel. Thank you. Take care. That's all for now. This is the start of the Jim Rohn one-year success plan summary. We'll chat again soon. Look forward to a great year. Take care and happy days. See you on new topic next week.